So we all know who the top 2 pilots are. So I asked this question to my locals and it turned into actually a heated debate. Who is the 3rd best pilot? Alright guys, before we get into it, I just want to say thank you guys. We hit 5K subscribers finally. And if you want to help me get to the next milestone, which is 10,000 subscribers, that's double the amount that we have right now, please hit that like, subscribe button. And of course, share this video with your friends so they can also get in on the action. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over some of the pilots that I think are contenders for 3rd and 4th place. And then I'm going to give you exactly who I think is the 3rd best. First contender is Mikazuki. Now this boy has been making waves and his effect is really awesome because one thing that you'll notice, especially with the top 2, is that this is just a win paired. It is not a win linked. I think the win links really get knocked down a notch because they have to be on a very specific unit, but sometimes their very specific unit becomes really, really good. We'll talk about that in a second here. If we just think about the 3-2 Barbados, the first form, him being able to turn it on and be able to be a base destroyer and draws the cards is just an amazing play. And he also can work in very different decks, like ping decks, so you can go on any unit and just be able to just deal that 1 damage indiscriminately is really, really awesome. Simply just choosing any target and being able to deal damage to it is pretty much what makes this card extremely strong, and I think one of my main contenders for 3rd place. So if Mikazuki is the king of burn, then Marita is the queen here. She says during link and when you attack, so of course you have to be linked up to any of her units. Now she definitely has plenty more units than Mikazuki has in order to link to. She has all of the Neo Zeons, she has all of her Kshatriya units, and she also has cyber new types. But the cool part about Marita is that she could do this constantly. Unlike Mikazuki, just like a one-hitter quitter. I didn't mean to put him down like that, but Marita can do it all night long. So constantly being able to attack, deal damage, attack again, deal damage, attack again, deal damage. That's just awesome. This really actually makes her insane because like if she's not answering, your opponent has to look at her and be like, man, this is going to happen again. This is going to happen again. And she just really makes the math hard. And imagine when another one drops, it makes it kind of crazy. And of course, you know she was going to be listed here. We have Suletta Mercury with that attack once per turn. Choose one of your resources instead of the active. But essentially getting $1 back every time I swing with it. That's kind of what I say here. So Suletta actually doesn't need to be linked. But quite honestly, a lot of players who use Suletta won't ever even be using any of the aerial units. Maybe the new one that came out, but a lot of aerial units aren't really that used. Sometimes you may take in like 1 or 2 rebuilds from what I've seen, and maybe me and some of my weird builds I might take in a little bit more, but not necessarily the aerial units, but the actual other academy units that link with Suletta Mercury here. But overall, that really doesn't matter because what you're going for is the resource gain. Being able to simply untap one of your resources and extend your turns is just phenomenal, quite honestly. She technically pays for herself. Guys, if you really think about it, Suletta Mercury technically costs 0. So when you play her and you attack, you get that money back, of course, and then you're able to play something that costs 4 on the same turn you actually played her. Being a +1, +2 statter in this day and age with a lot of aggro just makes her actually that much more valuable. Suletta just does a whole lot. Now you know this man was going to be on this list here. We have Char Aznavour. It says attack during this turn. This unit gets +1 AP, and that's where we really want to stop it here. A lot of pilots can technically do that if they have another nuance. For instance, you may have Jared. As long as you have another Titan in play, you may be able to do it. And of course with Riddy, if the unit has repaired, you can also get the +1 AP, but this one simply says you can put this on anyone and get it. So you can actually throw this guy into like a Zaf deck. If you guys haven't tried it before, maybe got your mind tingling there, that you can actually get that and achieve the Zaf threshold just by throwing this guy on it. Now, one of the reasons I want to say he's insane because everyone pretty much have probably said at least one time in their card game career, do you have this Char? You know, because they know that is an unblockable attack about to happen. Any kind of link with Char on it, it's pretty much like a guaranteed attack. Like, think about it. What can you really do if a player plays a Char link and attacks you when you have no more shields left and no blockers? Your only position at that point is literally to play something like Witch and the Bride, maybe like Mulaflaga, any kind of like bounce effect. And if they have enough resources, generally it only takes 3 to do it again, then you're gonna have to have another answer. It's just like he's going to destroy you. Like, that's kind of like where Char is in this game right now. And there's also a card, his Char Skelgu, that can bring him back from the yard. So even in the graveyard, he is not totally out. But he's able to apply his attack to any unit. Doesn't even need to be a link or anything like that. It doesn't even need to be a pairing, quite honestly. He can get it multiple times. If you put this guy on a Toggies, you get the +1 for the turn twice, which is very, very niche. I'm just saying, like, that's what you can do. And quite honestly, when I look at a lot of these pilots, I try to keep Toggies in mind. Like, can you actually abuse this card when attacking multiple times? Does it make it better? Sometimes TriloG makes pilots better than what they are. With that said, let's actually segue into this next pilot I have in mind. And here we have Laughter. Now I can't say Laughter is in a running place for 3rd place, but I feel like, guys, this is a card you definitely need to keep your eyes on. If you haven't tested her yet, go ahead and start testing her. This card is essentially Shards and Bowls, high maneuver effect on any unit in the game as long as it has damage. Yes, the only thing it will require to do is, of course, play purple. And obviously purple has access to being able to deal that damage to you. Let me take a step back. I know before you guys start typing it, okay, it's any level 5 unit or lower in the game. That's pretty good here. Like we were saying before with the TriloG. Do I got your mind thinking, guys? Come on, guys, we deck builders out here. If you like the kind of content that we have here, guys, please hit that like and subscribe button. Let's hit that 10K goal coming up here. So yes, Laughter says attack if this unit is damaged, get high maneuver. However, it doesn't say once per turn. It doesn't require a link. That's it, just attack. So TriloG having one set of damage on it or whatever is unblockable double attacks. Just know you heard it here first. But quite honestly, just Laughter in general, just being like that, do you have the Laughter card now, is just like Charizard's like stepsister in card form, right? I call it Hulk Smash aggro over here. So it's green purple aggro decks, and they play both Charizard and Laughter, and it's just kind of scary. Like, do you have a pilot? And I'm just going to die. You know, use Iron Blood on this unit, attacks Laughter, game, you know. I ping it for 1 with my guy, pass, okay, awesome. Play Laughter, you lose. Oh man, so I was say Laughter is in the running for 4th place here. I don't know if she has enough to get into 3rd, but again, we need to see a lot more gameplay from her. She actually may be able to scoot in there. Now I may be a little biased with this particular card here, so I'm gonna actually put Zex and 4 in the same category here, and the possibility for being 4th place. Now I say they can't be 3rd place because they're just, the During Link thing kind of holds them back, and also they're a level 5, which also holds them back too. If these were 2/2s, maybe that would make them that much better, like how Benager is a 2/2, and I also think that he is in the running for 4th place. But I think in set 3, he might actually go up to 3rd place because he has those new unicorn units revealed. But we're talking about right now. The reason why I like cards like Zex is because they essentially enable you to draw cards. Now you have to be able to play into the units because they're During Link. Now with being able to attack into the units, it's kind of something like you probably were going to be doing anyway. Because with 4, you have to first heal in order to get that. In your hand has to be less than 4 cards. So they probably thought that this was a lot easier to trigger, which technically it is in a way, but you have to have the damage on your unit. So either how you're going to get that? By attacking into something. And sometimes if you just die, then you have no chance of healing. You know, at least with Zex's unit, if you were to trade into something, you're able to just get the card off it, so it doesn't feel so bad. You're not necessarily 2 for 1ing. So if you kill a Link unit with Zex, you actually get a card over them, which can actually feel kind of good. So I've been using Zex for a long time, so I might be a little biased over here. I think Zex and 4 are in the running for 4th place here. Alright guys, and for some runners up, I'm not really sure where these guys land. We have Camille. I want to go ahead and throw him up here because he has the insane 3/2 stats. Now this is kind of where your stats are supposed to be at level 5. He doesn't do anything else. But you have to have that white base in play. For the most part, that's not usually the hardest thing to do, but a lot of decks only play like 4 bases now. But generally if you use Camille, you may think about going to 5, even 6 in that particular deck here. But yeah, just being able to have a 3/2 makes so many weaker cards just so much stronger if you were to combine it. You know, if you want an example of that, go ahead and check out this video right here at the top of your screen where I talk about the Gallowhorn, and of course Camille gets strong in the Gallowhorn deck makes that so much better. And here we have Quattro. Now I will just say this is not about his effect really. It is a wind linked. That's kind of awful. It's just like it has to be wind linked, and it has to also be an AU unit, so it has to be all these extra things. Now I get why they named like that, but here's the cool part. It actually has this extra text box, and I believe how this is worded, this is just an extra ruling rather than like an extra effect. So this might actually be active in all areas of the game. So even if it's in your style area, if it's in your deck, or if it's in your hand, it's always considered Charizardable or from your graveyard. Judges in the comments down below, let me know if I'm correct or wrong about that. That's pretty much the reason why he is good. He's technically the first one of its kind right now where we actually have 2 pilots of the same name, so you can utilize all of their linkable units there. And so a lot of players have been experimenting with this green-white kind of Xeon Char deck, and that's the main reason why he's on this list, because he's pretty much the first of his kind by having that same name and being able to have 8 of the same pilot in your deck. Now, lastly, I want to go over Shang Wu Fei. He essentially just says, does this unit have breach? If it does, I get this extra effect, right? And being able to take no damage whatsoever when clearing up someone's aggressive board is kind of crazy. You can also bring, their units down if you're using white by, AP reduction to kind of save them from taking damage as well. A unforeseen incident can technically almost be like a -6 if you're attacking to something that had 6 AP, for example, bringing it down to 3 and then him running into it and then taking no damage whatsoever is kind of crazy. So there's a lot's happening there. And also, it only needs to look at a unit that has breach. So for example, I played him in a Zaf deck. Well, obviously he works really well with the dual Gundam that has burst and automatically brings it up with his 2 attacks, so you don't even need to play anything else like a support card. But also playing it with the Gamao card, and essentially any Zaf unit that he's on will technically be able to have his effect trigger. And of course, he works on his amazing level 5 Shenlong Gundam that is going to be seeing a lot more play nowadays, especially as these blocker lists increase. And also, even on his 4-3 Gundam, and yes, even on the red Gundam that is very popular right now, because that's pretty much like a 7 attacker breach, and if you throw Shang Wu Fei on it, man, that does what, like 9 attack? And you're not going to take any damage from 3 AP or less? It is kind of crazy. So I think Shang Wu Fei's time is now. So yeah, he might actually be in the running for 3rd place. What do you guys think? All right, guys, so I know I made it hard for myself. My choice for 3rd place is Char Aznavour. And the reason why I put him there is because aggro featuring the Zeon package is such a strong base right now, such a strong deck right now. And then like it always feels good getting the Char, just being able to grab it, throw it on the Zaku, and then like destroy their base. It just feels like it always opens you up for the next play. And it can also be like a timer for your opponent who's constantly just playing blockers to like finally just have to go out and attack into this guy. And most of his units that he's on have some kind of effect that happens when it's actually destroyed. So he's almost inviting that, being able to get the token back, being able to top 3. They have to contend with this guy when they get it. And they also are always fearful when he shows up again. I don't really like Zeon, and it's kind of funny that I'm saying that, but definitely I think he's earned the 3rd seat at the table. So yeah, guys, let me know in the comments down below. Who was your 3rd place? Did we match up? Did we link up there? Are we new types? Did we think of the same thing? Are we new types? And also, if you haven't yet, guys, please hit that like, subscribe button. Definitely help this channel. We are going to be hitting our new goal of 10K. I know I've mentioned it a couple of times, but that's going to be a massive goal for us. Think about that. That's double what we did so far. And I've been working so hard on this channel. I don't know if we're probably going to get there. And also, I'm going to be trying to do more varied types of content. I know I have the new series coming out where I go over every factions. We're going to be doing a lot of content like this as well, where we just have discussions. And of course, we're probably going to be bringing back some GUNPLA stuff once I get all of my GUNPLA set up in my room, back up here, and then being able to get back into the painting and all that stuff. Because I want to kind of create a Gundam community, not just have a Gundam TCG only channel. Now, if you're only here for the Gundam TCG, thank you for being here. But also, stick around and check out some of the videos with the Gundam content and mecha video games as well. It's just all about the Gundams, all about the mechs, all about the robots here. So if you like all that stuff, you found the right place, guys. All right, I know life can be hard today, guys, but keep your head up, keep moving forward, and most importantly, let nothing stop you. Peace out, guys.